Time to talk about cancer again. Time to talk about T cells. We got an email from one of our viewers. I don't know where it was from. I think it was a shareholder of a company called Coya Therapeutics. Coya Therapeutics, their stock symbol COYA. Dr. Howard Berman is the founder and CEO of the company, and he's agreed to come on there with us, tell us all about it. You're looking at the website there online, coyatherapeutics.com. Howard, how are you, sir? Good to see you.
It's my pleasure. Thank you for having me on the call.
So give us an overview of what you guys are doing over there. I know you guys talk about the potential of regulatory T cell therapies. What does that mean exactly?
So regulatory T cells, it must be important to understand, is it's the most important cell in the body that controls inflammation. And we've discovered that in neurodegeneration, that the Tregs are dysfunctional, they're not working properly, and inflammation is plays a critical role in the patient's decline and the destruction of the neurons. So what we do is we have drugs, biologics they're called, that you can inject into the arm, and they ramp up these Tregs, these so-called Tregs, and by ramping them up and making them functional in the bloodstream, you can slow or stop the inflammation.
So we're talking, correct me if I'm wrong, this is targeting autoimmune diseases, correct?
Well, you would think that the first indication would be autoimmune, and that is an indication that we could go after. But I can tell you, we are among the first to show that in neurodegeneration, like in Parkinson's and Alzheimer's and ALS, that in fact, the Tregs are all screwed up, they're all dysfunctional, and that it is critically important to ramp up those Tregs in neurodegenerative diseases. And that's our initial focus and our target. We really believe that by slowing the inflammation or stopping the inflammatory process, you can slow or stop the disease from progressing.
Where are you guys right now along the arc of the trail with the FDA and such? Where are we at in terms of journey?
Sure. We started off with cell therapy, and we learned a lot about how to ramp up Tregs with cell therapy. But then we moved into biologics, and we've run 2 proof of concept trials in humans, one in ALS, and what we showed is this was an early study. This was a proof of concept clinical trial. We stopped the progression in ALS patients out to 6 months, which is pretty remarkable. And in Alzheimer's disease, and we just reported this data, in 8 patients, according to a score called the MMSE, the Mini-Mental. It's a cognitive exam that is done on patients.
Sure.
The patients actually improved. Now, it's an early study. It is an open label trial, but our plan is to do much larger double-blind placebo-controlled trials, and that's what we're moving forward in earnest with the ALS program.
Howard, is the target group you're looking at, is it middle-aged to older individuals, or does it cover the whole spectrum of age as far as what you're trying to pinpoint?
Sure. Well, ALS is typically found in individuals who are 50 and older, but there are patients that are younger than 50. Whereas Alzheimer's and dementias usually happen in patients that are a little older than that, unless you have an early onset dementia. But it is typically a disease of either middle age and above.
Yeah, but serious diseases. Let's face it, ALS, that's Lou Gehrig's disease, but and of course Alzheimer's. Did you mention Parkinson's when you started the program? Did I hear you say that?
That Parkinson's, we've discovered, is driven by dysfunctional Tregs, and that's a critically important pathway that we're interested in looking at and potentially targeting.
What's interesting about this company is you guys did an IPO to go public. Talk about the recent IPO.
Yeah. Well, we were one of about 12 biotech companies that did an IPO last year. 2022 was a tough year.
Yeah.
And we were able to successfully pull it through. We were the last IPO of 2022. We all individually invested in the IPO. So that's also very unique and different from other founders and other C-suite executives. The entire board invested, and we pulled it through. We have very supportive investors, and so we're happy to be in our position we're in now.
Always good to hear a company who's got the board of directors with skin in the game, not just getting paid to be on the board, but actually putting their money where their mouth is. Talk about your management team. Talk about I mean, there's a pretty interesting intersection of science and business with yourself. Talk about your background and some of the team members.
Well, I'm a Ph.D. by training, but I've learned a lot about business along the way. I've helped to develop and commercialize drugs at Big Pharma over the years. I've done it with a drug called venetoclax at AbbVie, which is an incredible drug for leukemia. And I've done it throughout my career. And so I'm translating that now with Coya. I have an incredibly talented C-suite executive team. My CMO, Adrian, he brought a company from a 40 or 50 million market cap to a $3.5 billion market buyout by Otsuka. And he's planning to do the same thing with Coya. And all along the way, we've really hired very selectively and carefully because we want to make sure we have the best of breed. And that's what we've got all across our scientists and the people who are discoverers of these regulatory T cells. Sakaguchi, he is on our scientific advisory board. So we're privileged to have these people. They're people who execute. We really pride ourselves on over-delivering and under-promising. That's our mantra. That's what we do.
Well, I'll tell you, that's a refreshing approach for any companies, but especially a biotech company, where you've got you have the board of directors invested in it, and you got an all-star team. Plus, I love the fact that you're working on ALS, well, of course, Lou Gehrig's disease, Parkinson's, and of course, dementia. Howard, I want to have you come back with us once again. Howard Berman, founder and CEO of the company, Coya Therapeutics, stock symbol COYA. You can go to coyatherapeutics.com. Thanks, Howard.
Thank you.